Hi, my name is Madison Robb. I returned home from Russia about 2 years ago. I served an LDS mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Vladivostok, Russia. And today I want to talk a little bit about the culture. I spoke before about the people, but today I wanted to talk about the culture. I learned more about the culture on the streets than I ever did in a classroom or a discussion or in the MTC where I learned about the language before I went out. They have been through so much. One of the things that I asked them, or actually they told me before I could even ask, is do you ever wonder why we don't smile on the streets? Because you Americans are walking around just smiling with your white teeth at everybody. And I said, yeah, we're happy and we want to talk to people, and we're here to share a message about God and His love for children and for His children and things like that. And they say, you don't do that. You don't do that around here. Because back in the day when you were to smile at someone passing the street, it was signifying that you felt that you were higher than them, that you were above them. You smiled down on them in most senses, and that's rude. And in most areas during the time of communism there, if just a normal person on the street smiled at a soldier, they could be either arrested or killed on the spot, because that was such a slap in the face to the government to be able to smile and say that I'm better than you. So they learned to keep their emotions quiet, which is why their homes are such sacred places. When you walk into their home, they get to be them. All of a sudden, when you meet a Russian, or if you have friends over there that you meet, or members of the church, or just even people on the side of the road, they would tell you, you can come over to my house for chai, which is tea, and they're kind of mellow and monotone. And the second they let you into their home, it's like they just get a release, and they show you all their family pictures, and they sit you down and they show you all their books, and they show you the Pushkin poetry, and the huge walls of books are beautiful. They really, really respect their books. And that also goes back to the communist times where books were kind of the only way that they could express themselves. That was artists and authors and things like that. That's how they were trying to get Russia out in some way. In some senses, it was kind of a cry for help, to be able to get their poetry out in the world and to be able to preach to people what they were going through. A lot of poetry was banned or burned or different things like that. So if you had a book of something that was very sacred to you, or poetry about love and the sorrow of going through loves during a communist era, or even just anything of having somebody leave you, things like that, they were so sacred to them. They always kept those books. One of the most near and dear gifts that they'll give you is like homemade chai, or a book that they've had for a long time, and it's literally giving a part of who they are. I have a whole bookshelf now of books that Russians have given me, and they either wrote notes in them, or you could just tell when they give it to you that it's from their heart. That book means so much to them. It's been through them, through the fires and back of life. So that's a little bit about their culture. They also have multiple locks on their doors most of the time. In the newer houses or apartment buildings, it's less. There's kind of just one big deadbolt, but in some of the older ones, you'll have like 4 and 5 different deadbolts that they'll be unlocking when you knock the door. And that's due to when a lot of the communist groups or underground, I guess, mobs or police groups and different things like that, they would just come in and they would break down the doors at any time that they wanted to either take your house, or if they were in search for someone who had technically broken the law or done something that they didn't like, they would beat down every wall in your house if they had to get in. I had grandmas sometimes tell me that we needed to go walk on the streets to talk about the gospel because the walls have ears. They've been so scarred and hurt from what they've been put through, which is also one of my beliefs of how sacred and special of a people the Russians are. There's no reason for them to be oppressed the way that they were and put through what they have been, to not be a very sacred group of people to our Heavenly Father. I know that Heavenly Father doesn't have favorites and He loves all of us, but there is something special about that part of the world that Satan has really tried to oppress or shut behind walls and closed doors. They are great, great people, very strong. Any Russian, when they put their mind to something, they're going to do it. You don't tell a Russian no. And I love them. Comes a lot from their culture, what they've been taught, what they've grown up and seen. They're strong people. So that's a little bit about the culture in Russia. It's a wonderful place to visit at any time. I know that there's some things going on in the world that might make it hard, but if you have a chance to go there, don't just go and see the landmarks and their temples are beautiful and amazing, but meet the people. Try to make a friend and go inside one of their homes to see what family means to them. Have a good day.